Good morning.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and this is our guest,
Rhonda Snyder with Coastal Community Bank.
Thank you, Rhonda, for joining us today. I'm super excited that we're together. Together as a community, we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships and empower each other, improving the health and wellness of the community, body, mind, soul, and business. As we just mentioned, today's special guest is Rhonda Snyder with Coastal Community Bank. And we are going to go ahead and roll right into today's meditation, which is meditation number 4 from Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kensington.
Let's go ahead and take a couple deep breaths before we get started.
Take some deep breaths, wiggle the shoulders, wiggle the head, sit up nice and tall in your seat. If you are driving, please do not close your eyes. If you're in some place where it is comfortable to close your eyes and you're okay with that, go ahead and give them a nice soft close. Gentle smile. Relax. And I'll begin. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Hoppy Elder. Now that you have a sense of how this book will flow, go with it. The Yoga Sutras will set the course. As in our travels, we explore each tributary of the 8-limb path. The daily readings that follow are an invitation to get into the canoe of your practice and flow down the river of yoga. You may go deep into uncharted waters. You will surely encounter challenges and delights along the way. But first, you must get into that canoe and let go. In class, I say, let your practice be a refuge from the need to control. And I suggest the same to you. Get out of the driver's seat for a while and enjoy the scenery. Let the river of yoga take you where it will. If you hit white water, stay in the canoe and keep paddling. When you enter calm pools, do the same. At a Native American gathering in Arizona for the 1999 summer solstice, a Hopi elder said, "There's a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and suffer greatly. Know that the river knows its destination." The elders say we must push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. See who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. The moment we do that, our spiritual growth comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred way and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Now go to your mat and push off from the shore. Take a few more nice, slow, deep breaths, letting that sink in for just a moment. And then let's talk about that for a second. What stood out to you?
I'm trying not to burst into Disney song. Up around the river's bend.
Right? It's very
perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's to me, it speaks of that diligence, to keep moving forward, right? And then I get like the other Disney movie, Meet the Robinsons, keep moving forward. And
I love that one.
Yeah, and it's inspiring, but it's also like, when you're in the struggle, just keep paddling, just keep swimming, right? We've got 5 different Disney movies all going on at the same time. For sure.
Darn Disney.
Yeah.
I really like banishing the word struggle from your vocabulary. If you find that I'm going to silence that while I think it's silent. Sorry. I have alarms that go off at 7:30 every day, every 12 hours. I don't know why. Well, I know the evening one is to walk the dog, but I'm not sure about this morning one. I didn't realize that did it. Anyways,
Right.
banishing the word struggle from our vocabulary, I think is amazing. Like I've been working a lot on if I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, no, we're going to reframe that. I chose to be here. I chose this. Next time I need to have better boundaries if I'm having that feeling. So it's been a real good cue for myself to like balance what I'm doing a little better. I think struggle is right there with it, like overwhelm, struggle.
Rhonda?
Well, I was just thinking that it just makes me think that I like the keep moving forward. Even when you think it should be going this way, you might think that this is the best way, but if you keep moving forward, you might realize that actually you were supposed to go this way.
It's
Yep,
really powerful.
Yep. And I mean, I was actually just talking to Heather about this yesterday, I think, where, you know, we don't always know what our destination is. You know, if you told me 10 years ago that I was going to be a yoga instructor, I probably would have laughed at you in your face. Or that I was going to start a podcast, I'd be like, you're funny. But, you know, here I am. And the path and the journey that life has taken me has brought me to this point. And where I go from here, I'm not sure. It's not clear. And just allowing yourself to let go and go with it, letting those doors open, you know, and not being stuck with one thought path or one goal in mind, and this is how you do it, and this is the black and white of it, and being open to other things going on in your life is hugely freeing. And also really cool, because that's how life is kind of supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, being willing to learn and adapt as you move forward.
For sure. I'm going to go ahead and roll into today's reading from Path of the Yoga Sutras by Nikolai Bachman. We're on chapter 4 today, Drusha, Ever-Changing Mother Nature.
Can you spell Drusha for me? I'm sorry.
Drusha, D-R-S with a little tag on it, Y-A, Drusha.
Drusha.
I think I'm saying that right. Please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Sanskrit's hard. Okay, so Drusha, ever-changing Mother Nature. Listen, all creeping things, the bell of transience. A quote by Issa. The worldview of yoga includes the belief that all material substances are in a constant state of flux. Modern science, especially atomic and quantum theory, agrees. Even our DNA mutates slowly every moment. Understanding the transitory nature of all things is prerequisite to letting go of expectations and attachment. Our senses interact with the outer world, yet we have the potential to turn our attention inward and experience that which never changes, our inner light of awareness, Purusha. Drusha, meaning what is seeable, is what the seer witnesses. The entire cosmic process, all matter and energy that encompass the changing manifest world. Everything but the seer. Synonyms for Drusha are Prakriti, meaning nature, and Maya, meaning measurable illusion. The material manifest world as a whole is considered to be feminine, as in Mother Nature, or English words related to mother are matter and matrix, each describing different characteristics of the observable universe. All of these words derive from the Sanskrit word for mother, matar, in this context. The father correlates to the Purusha, or the seer, which pervades the universe without being affected by its changes. The seer, Purusha, the instrument of seeing, Chitta, and the seen, Drusha, all play their parts during perception. Imagine that the seer is sitting quietly in its own luminosity, watching from behind the scenes. It sees the outside world through the heart mind, the middleman. If the chitta is clear and quiet, then the seer sees the world as it actually is, and its light is able to shine out into the world for the benefit of all. On the other hand, if our chitta is busy, then distracting thoughts and emotions create interference, like white noise from an improper television signal. Instead of seeing the world clearly, the seer observes distortion and confusion. Distinguishing between the seer and the seen is a major realization that is said to remove the dark covering of ignorance, avidya, in the heart mind, allowing the light of the seer to illumine the heart mind, which finally experiences its true nature. Thinking the seer and seeable are the same is the basic blunder that prevents us from connecting with our inner light of awareness. Enlightenment occurs when the heart mind is totally clarified and purified of all possible negativity and causes of suffering. Such rare enlightened people radiate unconditional love and acceptance. The pure light of the seer can shine through their eyes completely. Looking at them is like looking into a clear mirror of the soul, in which we can see ourselves reflected exactly as we are, not as we think we are. The world around us is not the same as it was a moment ago, and its changes are not always predictable. When our expectations are not met or a sudden tragedy befalls us, we can move on more easily when we understand the temporality of ourselves and our surroundings. The seer within our only rock and connecting our consciousness to it can ground us and carry us through all matter of events and experiences. Ooh, deep, deep stuff, right? So thoughts are a conscious, permanent inner light of awareness pervades the impermanent changing universe. We can alleviate suffering by distinguishing between what changes and what never changes. And we can begin to accept the transient nature of all things by the persistent and sincere practice of yoga. And remember what we talked about last week, that yoga is everywhere all the time in all things. The next time, okay, let's use this one as an exercise. So the next time you go to a movie theater, imagine the blank screen as your chitta. The images projected on the screen are your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions, and the light that allows you to see the images is the seer within you. Think about the illusory, changing nature of the images. Notice, too, the emptiness, clarity, and brightness that arises when there are no images in the way. Right?
Wow.
So how much do we distract ourselves from, living our lives, living our dreams, and seeing things for what they are versus how we want to see things?
All the time.
All the time.
I mean, we always are hoping for the best for people, and sometimes I think it's hard to see when someone's having a hard time if it's not a hard time that we've had personally. Like, it's hard to understand what they're going through. And I think that's kind of falls into that category of not being able to see what's happening.
Or just looking on the surface.
Yeah. And how do you think that this, one pointed focus, this, one path thought affects us as women in business? Dun, 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 right? Like, because as we grow up, what happens is we are told that things have to, you have to, look a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way, wear your hair a certain way, whatever the case may be. That's all external, right? But what's more important is what is inside each person. And it's that universal light of awareness, right? There's that love and light inside everybody, no matter what the outside package is, right? We're basically a skin suit. And we just use our skin suit to carry us through the world. But that inner light that is us isn't, it's not anything we can be labeled as. The inner light of awareness is neither male or female, short or tall, thin or not. The inner light of awareness just is. And so cultivating and growing that inner light of awareness helps us grow as people. And I also believe that it helps us grow as women in business, because when we can connect on that deeper level, that is our awareness speaking to somebody else's awareness. Our vibes, our connection is, our light, reflecting their light. And we connect with people on different levels. And that's okay. And we have intuition within ourselves. Like, I'm going to go around the block, or I'm going to park over here by the cart return and the light because that feels safer for me right now. And I'm getting some kind of negative vibes, or whatever the case may be. That intuition is all part of that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're clouded, if you're focused on the wrong things, if you're focused on other people's things instead of what you need, then your intuition is clouded. Is that what I just got? Like, that clouds your intuition? Like, if you're not, which would make it really hard to listen to yourself. Holy crap.
And how often are we told to not trust ourselves?
I'm over that.
Right?
It's true, though.
Rhonda, would you like to add anything?
Well, it's interesting, the intuition and the trusting ourselves. That's one thing I think that's been a positive for me in the industry that I work in, is because we're always taught, that's so important to trust your intuition when you're in the finance banking industry, because you deal with all types of personalities and situations. And a lot of times that intuition is super important. So it's really important to make sure that I do pay attention to those little thoughts and feelings and not ignore them.
That's good. Yeah. That's so exciting.
You've got to be able to, filter through that stuff, right? And, then we use our intuition to choose what's good for us and what's not. Whether that's material things or connections with people and things like that. But I have a lot of, we'll probably get into that in a later series, but I have a lot of animosity is not really the word that I'm looking for, but we'll just go with it, toward like material stuff. Like, I don't really need material stuff. I like material stuff. It does make my life a little more easy and comfortable and things like that. And sometimes it makes our lives more difficult. Like this morning when my laptop would not turn on. I think, I don't know. It worked just fine last night when I did a test and everything, but it just would not turn on this morning. And so I'm, had to borrow my kid's laptop. But
if you were attached to the process instead of the outcome, if you were attached to, I can only do it this way, I can only go on and do my podcast if I have my computer, then you wouldn't have done today. So, you just kept paddling and you went around the corner and we just kept moving, right? Until we found solutions to get through the day. If you are able to pivot like that, then you would be stuck, right? Like that would have that really stuck nasty. I don't like to feel that way. I really like to be able to be fluid and move through things.
Fluid. That's the key word of the day, right? We're talking about the rivers and the flow, and like Rhonda said, the river has forks, right? Which way do you go? And every path we take, we have to make choices, right? And our choices dictate where we kind of end up in the long run. But universal intelligence, it says that whatever we put out there in the world that we desire, we will eventually get. If we, if we just keep putting it out there, what our hopes and dreams and desires are, we will eventually get those things. And you can even manifest your own timeline on, hey, I'm going to make $100,000 this year. That's just what's going to happen. So, I've manifested to the world by August 1st of next year, I would have made $100,000 from August 1st of this year to August 1st of next year. And that's just going to happen because I have deemed it so. How that's going to happen, I'm leaving those doors open, right? So that's kind of where we're at with today's discussion, right? Following the path before you, but leaving those doors open so that you let that universal intelligence come to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I also think that sometimes your goals change as you're following that path. Mm-hmm. You might think this is your goal, but as you're going down that river, your goals might change.
Right. Absolutely. And it's okay for goals to change. It's okay for your entire world to change from what you thought it was going to look like to what it ends up being. And you know what? Sometimes that change is the best thing to ever happen, right? And sometimes you have to go through the tough stuff for those changes to happen. I have grown personally in leaps and bounds by going through extremely difficult circumstances, but it's not only grown me as a person, but it's grown my compassion. It's grown my intuition. It's grown my love for people. And it's grown my desire to share good with the world. And that's just kind of where my path has taken me, and I'm okay with that. So I would not change the hard circumstances I've been through for anything, because I learned more by going through the mud than I ever would in a field of flowers. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we are going to move on to the business part of our podcast, keeping in mind, how our business paths have wound us to where we are. And Rhonda is our special guest today. And we met Rhonda at a networking meeting she does on Thursdays at the
Village.
At the Tap House, the lodge, the old lodge restaurant, the downtown Marysville, Thursdays at noon. It's super fun. It's a great group, and I love everybody there. So
very casual. There's no requirements for it. She's done a really great job of creating just a really good culture of communication and get to know each other. We have a cash lunch and just talk and learn about each other's businesses. It's really cool. It is
really cool. Super casual. And we have the same waitress every week, and she's phenomenal, and we love her. And I look forward to seeing her too. She knows, our drink orders and stuff the minute we walk in the door. So,
and she's a business owner too, which I love.
She is. Yeah, so she owns Country Rose downtown Arlington. So if you're ever in town, go say hi. But our guest today is Rhonda from Coastal Community Bank, and she specifically works with small businesses. So Rhonda, why don't you go ahead and tell us about what you do, your why, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. As Charlie said, I work with small businesses, and I work with businesses in and around the Puget Sound area. So I work all over Snohomish County, King County, a little bit of island counties. And I spend my day out and about in the communities, building relationships with businesses, supporting them. I do a lot of volunteering. I'm just very passionate about locally owned businesses and my community. I came from the big bank actually because I was kind of on that path of trying just to grow and get better in my career. I was a single mom, and that was what was important to me at the time. And then I got remarried and super happily remarried. My kids are older. And then I decided that I wanted to work where I was happy. I didn't want to have to fit all my customers into this perfect little box and not provide them the great service that I wanted to. And there was Coastal, and these people working at Coastal were amazing and working in the community. So I knew I wanted to be at Coastal because I wanted to be able to really truly help my customers. I wanted to be able to meet with them whenever it worked for them. So outside of business hours, I wanted to be able to, volunteer and be part of different organizations in the community and do more than just the banking aspect. So for me and my clients are my friends. I get to know them. And I help businesses whether or not they bank with me. I'm going to always be there to support and help them. But of course, if they need banking, I'm here to help with any kind of banking need. Even though Coastal is a smaller bank, we still do the same things all the bigger banks do. We just have that personalized level, that one-on-one with them where we can take the time and help them. I go to the businesses and work with them there, or meet them at coffee or lunch. All my clients have my cell phone number. There's no 1-800 numbers to call, no jumping through hoops. And like I said, I also do lots of volunteering and community work. So I'm on 3 different boards, and one that I'm super passionate about, which I think you girls would really love, is Seroptimist. And that is an organization of women that are helping to better the lives of women and young girls in their community. And I'm a mom of daughters. So that's a big passion of mine, is helping women and girls. So I am really proud to be able to be a part of these organizations and be able to spend my time out doing good for my community, and to have the support of the company that I work for, to know that they're completely supportive. If I say this whole day is spent volunteering and working on this because this is what we're doing right now, I have that support, and I love that. It's really amazing.
Hey, that's so awesome.
I love that for you too, because I know that's exactly where your heart is at. And you do the red carpet theater thing.
I'm on that board too. The red
you're on that board. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chamber of Commerce, all that stuff. So she is probably one of the busiest women I know. But she is out there, in the community, working with the community in a way that I've never seen anybody from a bank work with the community before.
You take the scary out of banking and money. Like, literally, that I think it's such a big thing. I mean, we have books and all sorts of things devoted to helping us open our minds about money, right? But if you don't have a quality person like yourself that will sit down with you and take that scary out of it, and you provide that, it's really amazing.
Yeah, that's really funny that you said that, because I actually met with a customer yesterday. I went to his business, and when we first shook hands outside of his office, he goes, "This is almost like meeting with the IRS when I'm meeting with my banker." He said, "But I've never had a banker come to my business." I said, "Yeah, because I'm not like meeting with the IRS. I'm a different type of banker. I'm not that kind of banker."
Scary.
Right.
Yes, you take that. You are definitely that bridge. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate what you are doing within the community. You are being seen. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate you, because Just by you doing what you do because you love doing it, you're empowering women all over the place. You're inspiring women all over the place. And that is just phenomenal. And we appreciate you so much. So thank you for being part of our podcast today. We really appreciate it. Other businesses we work with are, I teach yoga, Warrior Yoga Stanwood. I have a virtual class on Wednesday nights at 6. You can find all the information on the Warrior Yoga Facebook page at Warrior Yoga Stanwood. Under the events tab, there's virtual Wednesdays. I also offer one-on-one private consultations. So if you're interested in that, message me directly and we'll see what we can figure out. I specialize in gentle yoga, working with people in their bodies as they are. As a disabled veteran, I have lots of issues within my tissues and my own mental well-being that I work with within myself. And I love to share the tools that I've learned to help myself with other people. And so my passion is helping people within their bodies, within where they're at right now, and then moving forward, because we're not all built the same. Everybody's different. Everybody's gone through different things. So there's a lot of not only physical work within yoga, but there's a lot of like mental, emotional work through yoga. And I have cried on my yoga mat. I can't tell you how many times, but it is so healing and so phenomenal. And I love it. And I'd love to share that with you. So shoot me a message at Warrior Yoga Stanwood or email me at warrioryogastanwood@gmail.com and get a hold of me, or even give me a call. 425-501-9271 is my phone number. And I'd love to hear from you. And then Heather is going to introduce a couple more things. Heather?
I work with this lovely company called Bio, and I work in health and wellness products. And these products have changed my life. I'm recently recovering from a very major surgery, and I would not have the vital energy for life and be able to be up doing podcasts and connecting with my community as much as I have without them. And I feel like they really allow me to show up in the community as the person I want to be, not the person that's held back by my health. And that leads me to how I met Charlie. We work together at the October company, and I have a very big passion for connecting families in our community to insurance needs, because I feel like this is the gap between being in poverty and like jumping out of that. Is there's nothing that kills your dream faster than your kid going to the hospital. You know, if you are a single mom working on building a business, your kids still come first. And that's some of the things that we do in insurance. And I love to connect our community to that. We love to work with local businesses of all sizes, not, you know, not just big businesses. They got lots of people that want to work with them. We want to work with everybody else. So sum that up. And you can find us online. We're the octoberco.com, all lowercase, all one word. We're also on Facebook as the October Co. And we're on Instagram. That's it. I was like, what is Instagram? But I think it's the October Co. with underscores in between it, because I can get the other one. So.
For sure. Okay, so that's all your contact info?
Yeah, you can find me online.
Yeah. Find us online, shoot us a message, even right here on the podcast page. That's fine too. We will be posting links to each other's businesses and stuff under today's podcast and all that good stuff. Let's see here. What do we got?
I want to give a quick tip too. So the reason why we don't just like share the link like right as the post is because it really kills the Facebook algorithm when you share links that could click off to somewhere else. So we've been putting them in the comments so that it doesn't kill everyone's algorithm.
Right. So not only can you find us live on Fridays at various times, depending on when everybody's able to get together, but We also record this podcast and post it onto YouTube on my Warrior Yoga YouTube channel, which we're kind of working on rebranding a little bit. But you're welcome to join us. You're welcome to tune in live or go find the recording. So with that being said, I think that wraps it up for today.
Well, we got any up and coming events? Do you have any events, Rhonda, that you got coming up?
Well, I mean, I have one coming up this weekend, but it's a little late for anybody to come to it, but it'll be fun. But we do, like, as we talked about, our new networking every Thursday at noon. I invite anybody and everybody to come and check us out and visit. You don't have to commit to coming every week. It's just open to any business owner, business professional that's looking to build relationships and get that extra support, because that's what we're there for. We're there to support each other and build connections. And then let's see, the Brew and Cider Fest is coming up October 15th at the Marysville Opera House. That is put on through the chamber, sponsored by Coastal Community Bank and open to the public. Lots of fun. And you do have to buy your tickets ahead of time, and tickets are selling out. So if anyone's interested, go get a ticket. It's going to be a really fun event for the community to participate in.
Awesome. I'm actually hoping that I can attend. I got to double check my calendar, triple check my calendar, because as I learned last week, Mercury's in retrograde, right? And I totally screwed up my calendar. And when Mercury's in retrograde, I guess you're supposed to triple check your calendar and your schedule and things like that, because things get messed up, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I want to take a moment to thank you, Rhonda, for joining us. I'm looking forward to those events. I love our Thursday networking group. Super fun. Things like that. Yes, along that lines, Heather and I with October Company had our first once a month out of the box networking group yesterday. And it was so much fun. It was. And I can't wait for the next one. So if you are interested in that, it is Out of the Box Lunch. We have a Facebook page for that as well.
You want me to plug the other one too?
Sal Brewery. Huh?
Should I plug the other one? Oh yeah, it's at Sal, S-A-L-L Brewery. If you guys have not been there, you should go. Oh my goodness, super cute in Stanwood. A little off the beaten path, so you might not have noticed it. But it's in the old firehouse, and they've totally redone it in there. It's absolutely beautiful, and you can bring your dog because it's a brewery. So like, you know,
they have outdoor seating area. They have a downstairs area. They have wonderful food and brew, and they're super food friendly. So if you have food allergies, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever, they have options for you. And there's not a whole lot of places in town that are as picky with their food choices and how they cook them as Sal Brewery. Christine at Sal Brewery is amazing. So I'm plugging her.
Yes, absolutely. So, we're hoping to get her on here soon.
Yeah, we will. She'll be here. I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsors, Warrior Yoga of the October Company, Heather Ross Wellness Ambassador, and Coastal Community Bank. Thank you, Rhonda, for joining us on the Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, that's me.